Well, hello, true gardeners. Welcome back. So you're doing your landscaping and you're trying to figure out, well, if my garden has full sun, it has filtered light, and it has shady areas. Like, how do I make that kind of garden cohesively and really come together and all kind of look like it feels like it's part of the same theme? Well, I am going to share that just exact thing with you in today's garden. I wanted to share with you some plants and trees that we layered in, really tied the landscape together. And I feel like even though it's different material, it really did tie well together. It really did kind of work harmoniously and fit the spot and also fit my client's style. Some of this plant material that we have, we reincorporated and relocated, and so everything ties in so nicely together. So I'm gonna list those plants and trees for you guys and list the locations. We're gonna start right here and this shady spot of the garden. Now this is on the side of her driveway. We've got a little bit of area where we get some filtered light, but mostly in here is shady spot. Now a lot of people tell me when they meet me, they're like, I love tropical plants. I love the way they look. I love that vibe. Unfortunately, I have no sun to work with. I have no tropical atmosphere to work with because everything is in the shade. Well, you are in luck, because so many times those particular plants that I use, those rojo congos, those sloppy painters, those big leafy things that are absolutely, to me, scream I'm in the tropics, love shady, dark spots. So that's what's going on here. We've got a clustering of sloppy painters as the backdrop. You'll see that this backdrop right here, this is covered by palm trees, covered by oak trees. This is an area that really gets very little light. It really didn't have a lot of impact. So what I want to do is create a bright wall. You'll notice anytime I have a dark spot in the garden, I'll bring in light colorations to kind of almost look like I've turned a spotlight into it, turn a light on in the back of the garden, like turning a light on in a dark corner. And they do a great job of that. They're going to get into that 6 to 7 foot range, creating a kind of a tropical wall. And when you guys bring in sloppy painters, bring in a nice variety of them. If you can bring them in a little bit taller, that's ideal, because they do take some time to get with a little bit of girth or a little bit of thickness. So we've got a nice collection. You can see I've got them staggered this way and that way. So we have a nice zigzag pattern going on right here as your backdrop. And then I replicated that feel with something that contrasts that look entirely. So another shade-loving plant is the rojo congo. Rojo congos do a fantastic thing in a garden, I think. They offer a tropical look, that bottom of that leaf with that red maroon tone to it, the red stemming to it with a nice shiny green leaf. I think they look so fantastic, and the contrast between the long skinny yellow and green leaf of the sloppy painters just really play really well together, especially when they mature in. Right now it looks great, but gosh, in 2 years, 3 years, this will all be one collection of height back here with nice and broad big leaves, big lily pad leaves here. They're going to just tie in so beautifully with the backdrop of the rest of the landscape. And then we had an existing double pygmy date palm here. And I could have taken those rojo congos and connected them and did a full grouping, a full swath. But anytime I have a tree that's offering a little bit of a highlight, Cindy loved this tree. We kept this tree here. She has her orchids on it. So it has a nice douse of color in this particular spot. So I wanted to offer a little break for the eye, just a little place for your eye to rest. And sometimes all that takes is 3 plants, 3 farfugiums right here in this shady spot are going to do so nicely to kind of offer a big giant, talk about a lily pad leaf. These guys will almost quadruple in size as far as width goes, and they're going to get about 3.5 foot tall. So they'll kind of give a nice break right here. And then we've continued on with the rojo congos and the sloppy painters as that backdrop. Now, Cindy had a beautiful collection of bromeliads, so we were able to relocate. We picked a lot of them up only to put them back down in key areas like you see here. I have a big giant swath of bromeliads just to kind of tie in, and we did that on the opposite side of the driveway. So both areas coming up the driveway felt like they started off with her favorite plant in the garden. You know, I tell people all the time that I want to bring the principles to the landscape. I want to bring the structure, I want to bring the layering, and I want to bring the important things because that's what a landscape designer does. But they're not meant to change your style. If your favorite plant in the garden is the collection of bromeliads that you've been working on for years, you don't know how to kind of use them in the garden, make sure that the person that you're working with understands that. They use what you have, they use what you like, and say, okay, I got it. This is our goal. We're gonna use what you've got, but we might play musical chairs with it. We might pick them all up and put them in different areas and then make them work where they're supposed to work. And that's what we did here. And I think that's an important thing to take note of, because sometimes it is not out with the old and in with the new. Sometimes it is rearranging the old, incorporating the new. And that's what we did here. And I think it turned out really, really nice.
Hey you guys, Bryce here. I just wanted to pop this in real quick and ask if you could like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps show your support and keep these videos going. Also, if you're enjoying the video, please drop a true gardener in the comments. And if you're looking for any help with designing your space, or you have some questions, or you want a master plan created, or you even want a design and installation done, head over to our website. We have 3 short videos that break down our 3 services so you can see which option works best for you. In those videos, we'll go over pricing and locations for the state of Florida. And if you're looking for any products mentioned in this video, we have a link that takes you directly to our Amazon storefront where you should be able to find everything. And also, if you're looking to build your own plant palettes, we also have a link that takes you to our book that helps walk you through designing your own space. Thanks so much for your support, and let's get back to the video.
And now you might be wondering, like in general, this particular side of the house, it wasn't really meant to be full shade. This area gets regular sun, but because of the trees that were existing here, it required us to work with what was here. Now she loved her palm trees here. These Chinese fan palms, you guys, if you're looking for a shady environment, incorporate some Chinese fan palms. If you're looking to create kind of a hammock environment for some tropical plants to go underneath of them, don't miss out on bringing in some big fan giant leaves. It may not be your favorite tree of all trees to use in your garden, but what it does offer is it offers you the opportunity to put some things underneath of them that you may absolutely love. And that's exactly what it does here. It offers protection here to put in some of these beautiful tropicals. And then, your pygmies, even the ligustrum back there is offering some coverage protection. We've incorporated another pygmy where we wanted to keep this same theme going on. We needed the protection right here. So we've got a beautiful foxtail palm and a pygmy right behind it that's going to give us great backing, great substance on each side of the driveway. This little grouping right here gets even more protection as summer hits. But then you might be seeing what's going on behind me. Now we are going to go right into the sunniest spot of the garden. I feel like the light just went on right here. This is a very sunny spot in the garden. It is a hot area. And right here at the pavers, right here at the line, this is a giant paver pad right here behind us. And this is the ending point to her garden. This is the ending point, the backing point. And some of her other favorite plants, Cindy had a beautiful collection of agaves. And you guys, if you're in love with agaves, then this is going to be a fantastic little grouping for you to kind of replicate, because I think it turned out really, really well for the area that we had to work with it. This is a small patch of the garden that gets good sun. When you're working with full sun, pick material that can really handle that bounce back heat and it's not going to burn on you, not going to be something that you're constantly out here watering because it's not happy in its environment. False agaves will take that heat. They're like the copper tone family of any kind of species of plants. They're like, bring on the sun. And that's exactly what they do. They'll thrive in this spot. So this was the one area that we had good open areas. So I thought, let's bring in some rock elements. Let's bring in a little boulders. Let's bring in some stone, because to me, agaves, I think they're great focal points. And the way that I use them in a lot of my landscapes that you guys all see, I mainly use this particular plant in connection with some other plants that I like to use, like blue days or foxtail ferns or gold mound, as like a softer element. But when you use a big collection of agaves, that's a harsh look. That's a more aggressive look. And sometimes that's not for everybody. So what I like to do is I like to jazz it up with something else. If I can't bring in soft, lovable plant material with nice soft leaves, I'll tend to bring in a change in element. So that's why we have this Indian Creek rock. This is like a round river jacks. It's in the small family of rocks, about an inch and a half of the river jacks. They're all running along this back area. We are on a pretty good berm here. It allowed us to play with some layering, which was awesome, but logistically, it wasn't very easy to work with because this slope is pretty aggressive for not a very large area. So what I told Cindy is I'd like to bring in maybe some river jacks to the front to really create like a natural edge look. So that way we don't have to put aluminum edging there. We can kind of create a border with those river jacks. And you guys might have that same problem because most of the time when you have pavers, you're going to have a footer right along those pavers, a concrete footer. That concrete footer will be a nightmare to put edging next to because that edging will stick up all wonky. We pulled that out and we did a natural border right there, incorporated some small pea gravel stone in between the cracks. Those flat river jacks to me lay so well. You can really create any kind of design with those. You can make them sweeping waves, you can make curvature, but in this particular case, I wanted to just make sure that we had something that buffered this rock from ending up where you guys are sitting right there, down there. So that's its goal. And it's also a nice change up visually. So if I can't do it with plants, I'm gonna do it with some stone. And that's kind of the goal. And then the yucca rostratas, which you guys know how much I love those, just really vibrant spherical type of look on those leaves. As they grow up, they're gonna be even more stunning. But I wanted to highlight them. So I brought in some small Tennessee boulders. These guys are like basketball size. You know, they're not anything huge. I connected them together as like one little half moon shape around the front of them. Added a little bit more soil so it looked like they're raised up, and put the plants right in the middle as a centerpiece. So that way it almost offered like some movement around them. And then you guys, if you have boulders like this, do something like we have here, like variegated ice. Right where the boulders meet each other, I use variegated ice there to kind of soften those corners to where that doesn't butt up just perfectly. I kind of hide that with something draping through the middle of it. You can use golden sedum, you can use variegated ice, you can use a variety of draping plants that kind of look like they're kind of crawling through the stone itself. To me, that's such a natural look. We've got some golden sedum here to wrap around her focal point, and then some whale's tongue agave. Bryce, get a good close-up of those whale's tongue agave. I know a lot of people think those are just the blue agaves, but oh my gosh, you guys, I'm gonna pop up a picture of what those look like matured. They're so cool. They don't get huge, but they do get kind of wide, and the leaf really widens out. And I just think they're just kind of a really nice contrast when you have this guy vertical and tall and strong, but then you have those guys to the side and they're broad and wide and open up. The contrasts play together. It's like they're a little family right here. And then you dial in with something else silver on the sides that are really much softer looking. And I think that that's just going to be a great combination. These guys are going to be fantastic standing points because they'll get 5 or 6 foot tall to the back, but then it drops off to nothing, right? No, it does not. Not in my house or my landscape. These are Brazilian red cloaks to the back here, you guys. These are, I know they're babies right now, and they've been through the frost, so they've all been cut back, but we're not gonna hold that against them because we know what Brazilian red cloaks are gonna do in the future. Brazilian red cloaks are gonna create a wall, and that's exactly what we want. Right to the back of us is I don't know if you just heard the equipment pop on, but it's like on cue. Thank you, AC. We have AC equipment. We have, a neighbor's wall. We have that going on. This is the spot where cars and people pull up. This is the driveway area. This is the direct viewpoint as Cindy leaves every single day and as she arrives every single day. And this to me was just as important as the front yard. And when you have that going on and you want just that tad bit of privacy, we did a mulch bed just to the back here. And we've got Brazilian red cloaks. We've got 11 of them staggered as a wall, starting from the most important part, which is the first kind of opening that you would see as you pull in, all the way to that ending point right there. They're gonna create 8 to 10 foot wall of green and big, beautiful blooms right here as this backdrop. Now, I bet you're wondering, well, how do you do that with a very little irrigation going on here? Well, because I collected this in one tight little area with some yellow alamandas. These have drip line all the way through here. So this irrigation that supplies for the front, this drip line will feed this and not affect anything in this garden. This garden will be dry as a bone, while this garden is getting all the water that it needs when the irrigation naturally comes on. These guys are gonna be a fantastic feature, especially this softness against that vertical kind of wham kind of look. I think this is gonna really contrast so beautifully. That's how you bring a garden together. You wanna make sure all of that softness that we have there, we're transferring some of that here. All of those bromeliads, shade bromeliads that we have everywhere else that have all those sharp textures, we're transferring, we're replicating that over here with a different feel, with a different vibe. Yeah, and before we leave this little sunny section right here, I thought this might be a really good point for many. You guys love that type of look and you don't have an agave fascination and you want something that is going to translate and maybe use some of that same plant material over there in this full sun environment. And you're like, how is that gonna work? Well, I'll tell you. all you need is trees. You know, just think about if you were to put some umbrellas out here, boom, now you have filtered light. You just need them in the right place. If I were looking at this spot and Cindy said to me, I really want this area to feel like the rest of my garden. I feel like it's kind of sticking out like a sore thumb. I want this to feel like that. I would say, okay, this is what we need to do. We can create this backing with Brazilian red cloaks, possibly back here, but we need some nice palm trees that are gonna offer that. So 2 foxtails here, we're gonna do a triple Chinese fan palm here, we're gonna do pygmy date palms on either side here, and then we're gonna come back with some Brazilian red cloaks to the back. That way we've created a wall front to back with layers that are not gonna disguise the whole view from where you guys are sitting to where I'm standing. It's all gonna be layered up, and then you got all of this room for sloppy painters, rojo congos, farfugiums. All of that now can come into place because you've created a hammock for it. You've created that microclimate for those plants to flourish in this full sun exposed garden. And then lastly, you guys, if you're in full sun, you know, and you've got a lot of shady areas for the rest of your garden, then you're limited with blooms in those areas of your garden. But because this is a full sun spot, look at these beautiful alamandas right here. And they're gonna really come in with bright yellow blooms that bloom 11 months out of the year. These guys bloom all the time. And then these Brazilian red cloaks that bloom all year long. Well, not right now, but normally all year long. So you've maximized. Now, other areas of the garden have different kind of colorations, but now you brought another element to the garden. You have blooms. I did that, I'm gonna show you really quickly. I did that in 2 other spots in the garden that have sun. Right here, bouncing sun off of the pavers here, we're gonna have this little area, and you can see it's so funny because I just have like the tiniest collection. I have got just a handful of alamandas right here and enough room and sun for 3 dwarf ixoras, and that's all the sun we had. Then we get over here into the shade, so we just didn't have the room for it. But you can see because of the bounce back, because of the heat, because of the reflection off of the pavers, gave me just a little bit of room to change that up and tie in here what's going on back there. And of course, if you do it on one side, you know, rinse and repeat it on the other side. And that's what we have right here, a little collection of the yellow alamandas. And I can tell you right off, that one right there, it won't bloom as much as the rest of these, but I do kind of need a sweeping group. So even if it's green, it's gonna work with this little grouping. And then just a handful right here of the dwarf ixoras. So you can see that these are the areas that you gotta just kind of look at your space and maybe make sure, and keep a little journal. Just look at it, okay, between 10 and 2, we've got great sun here in this area. And between, you know, 2 and 4, I got great sun in this area, because that's how you're going to maximize your landscaping. You know it's gonna really take hold. It's gonna do super, super well. That's all part of the planning process, getting that together, that information together. And you guys are setting yourself up for just a fantastic, beautiful palette of plants and trees that are going to not just look nice when you put them in, but flourish through the years. All right, so now for the last little section of the garden. It's like we had 2 parents met, they had babies, everybody's happy in this garden. You get the best of both worlds. We've got sun, we've got shade, we've got filtered light. And this garden was just, this section of the garden was just perfect for that. Now, there were areas where I needed to bring more shade in. So I kind of took my own rule where I mentioned over there and brought some tree material into the front section of this garden. Late afternoon, this little area really gets some good sun, especially from right here to right here along this whole front section. So back here where I wanted to make sure that we had some protection, had some shade, because I wanted these plants to feel like they married what was on the other side of the driveway, to feel like we had the same theme going on. And in order to do that, I needed to bring in material that was gonna offer it protection. So this triple foxtail palm, even though it's very young, it's on a slant slope, very hard to get to. So we had to bring in the biggest one that we could carry, which was a 30-gallon. This is about 9, tipping 10 foot tall. So it's still very, very young, but it's going to open up and really mature out in canopy. When you have a triple trunked tree, that's going to give you so much girth, so much more girth than a single palm tree. So that was its goal right here. Cindy loved foxtail palms, or else I may have brought in something like a Chinese fan palm or something like that normally. But because I didn't want to completely block off the front of this house, I wanted something more linear. That's why we have the triple foxtail palm here. But it offers as the umbrella for these 4 rojo congos to the back and these 3 aglionemas to the front. Now, this area to the back gets a little bit more sun, so I chose the banana leaf crotons. These are the curly dwarf banana leaf crotons, and they're offering great brightness. They can handle filtered light really well, and they can handle more sun. They can actually handle full sun very well. So I love that combination where I have a little bit of both going on back here. But again, it's bright and dark. I could have chose sloppy painters, but because this area gets a little bit more sun to the backside and they're a little further away from the palm trees, I wanted to make sure that we were well and protected and chose a different variety that can handle a little bit more sun than the sloppy painters really like. That's where we were able to collect it. I have pygmy date palms on either side of this grouping to again offer us the protection, and I just chose to put them in key areas, not in front of the window, but kind of catty corner on the sides to really offer a little bit more depth in the garden. We have all these great bromeliads for height in here, but we needed something green and soft to kind of really tie in the palm trees. So I think these pygmy date palms do a great job of that. They gave us shade and they gave us a tad bit of a soft green backdrop around that 5 foot to 6 foot height. Another thing they did, and I think they did this really, really well, you know, we had some existing trees to work with, and that happens all the time. And there was more material in here in the original landscaping prior to us even getting here. And that's kind of why we have, you know, 2 old sable palms here, and then we've got 1 here. We originally had more going on here, but see, it's not symmetrical. And you know, you guys know, I like symmetry. It makes sense to me. I like it, and then I like to play with it a little bit. I like to blur the lines of symmetry. I needed some impact. I needed some weight on both sides. So what I chose to do is offer some support of those trees by bringing in 2 pygmy date palms. We've got 2 on this side of the garden, kind of staggered. And then we have 2 on the opposite side of the garden to kind of do the same thing, giving us some weight on both sides. And because there's already 2 existing larger palm trees here, I chose to bring in a single foxtail palm on this corner to give us a little bit more oomph, to give us a little bit more weight. That way, even though it's a different tree entirely, sables and foxtails, do they match? Not normally, no. But I think that what we were going for here is balance. We needed the balance. So we've got the foxtails where we need them for balance. We've got the pygmies where we need them for balance. And then I just tried to incorporate plant material that would work happily with them in that area. There is one last thing that I kind of want to just bring up here, because this may happen to you guys too. You know, you have one spot of the garden that's between other palm trees or other trees, and it gets just like a blast of sun, right? You've got a filtered light everywhere else, and then you get a little bit more sun in one particular spot. That's what happened here. I chose the Dean bromeliads. These guys can handle full sun to filtered sun to full shade. You can tell they're getting good sun because of the coloration of these. The more sun they get, the brighter pink and green they are. The more shade they get, the more green they get. So this spot really is a perfect spot for this type of plant grouping. I love them around the boulder. I love them as a backdrop to the boulder. What I don't want is I don't want too much of this spiky kind of vibe going on. I wanted some softness to happen. So we've got the pygmy date palm to the back, which left me a little pocket of shade. We have this tree and this tree that is doing a job for me to cover this little area, and is going to do that even more so as summer comes and they grow in. So I've got just enough room to put 3 farfugium, which we all know farfugium like shade, right? So it's just enough for these 3 guys to collect in this grouping to be protected by these 2 trees. And it offers the contrast that I'm looking for of leaf pattern. We've got this spiky kind of leaf with big teeth on it, bright colors. What contrasts that better than a big, giant, soft, shiny lily pad leaf? These guys are going to come up to here to around 3.5 foot tall, go all the way to 4 foot wide. So as they get and grow in width like this, what you're going to see from the street is that coloration, that vibe, with this vibe as a backdrop to it. And then of course your palm trees are going to kind of come up and over top of this. So when you're planning your landscaping, think about how things are going to turn in the future, how things are going to work and grow in the future, because you're not planning for just right now. You're really planning for when it's just going to be perfect. And that's about 1 year to 2 years in Florida gardens. By that point, everything just flushes out and you're like, oh, my garden went from a nice, colorful little planting to the layers come in, the texture comes in, all of the contrasting comes in, and you're like, wow, just overnight, it feels like a botanical garden. And that's how that happens, because you set it up for success. All right, you guys, so I hope you enjoyed that video today. And if you want more information or want to see another garden that has a similar kind of look, where it had full sun, it had full shade, it had sun, check out this video that we have also on our channel. I will link it down below as well in the description. Thanks you guys so much for visiting with Bryce and I. Take care.